Alright guys, so I got to pull the flywheel off of this Onan. The guy I got this engine from said the voltage regulator was toast. So there's no charging system on it right now. And the voltage regulator from Onan cost $1,400. Yep, that's right, $1,400. So I read that I could put a Kohler voltage regulator on there, which I got for about 35 bucks. And what I need to do is find the wires that used to go to the old regulator, which the old regulator is supposed to mount down here. And there's no wires. So what I found is that over by the air cleaner, the oil filter, back here, probably can't see it on this video, but there's two yellow wires that are cut off way down there. So what I'm going to have to do is take off the flywheel and solder new wires on there so that I can bring those wires up to the frame somewhere and mount the voltage regulator. So I'm not really sure where I'm going to mount it, but I'm probably going to mount it down in this area, and then I can run the wire back to the key switch so that I actually have a charging system on this motor. So that's my next step here, is to get that flywheel off. So I've got a puller here, this type of puller. You got two bolt holes in the engine, and hopefully it will come right out. I'm going to put something over here so that I don't destroy the threads on that thing. I might just put a quarter or a nickel in there. It's about the right size, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so I got my puller set up. Let's see what happens. Whoa, there we go. That worked great. Alright, so let's see what we got here. So, we got our stator, which is a little bit dirty. It's all covered with grease, so I'm going to actually clean that up. And we got our little pigtail here, which I think what I'm going to do is just take the stator right off the engine. There's two screws that hold it on. I'll bring it inside to the bench and I'll solder new pigtails on there with some shrink wrap and make it real nice. So this doesn't really look like that big a project. So we'll do it. And let's see if it works. Now, one thing I just learned is that the flywheel key is broken in half. It turns out, I don't know if I cracked the flywheel or if it was already cracked, but there's a big crack back here on the back of it, which is not cool. So seems like kind of a ridiculous setup here. I'm going to have to go to my parts motor and take the flywheel off of that and see what happens, but my fear here is that the key is broken off in the crankshaft, so we'll have to see what we got going. Now, I took the stator off, and this is really weird, but the whole casting is broken right there. And I didn't break it because there's no pieces hanging around, but the flywheel is clearly cracked and is made out of some really cheap-ass cast aluminum, which is, I can't believe. So, looks like we're going to have to get a used flywheel, but that's not really what I'm so worried about. What I'm more worried about is this damn crankshaft and how to get this freaking key out of it. This is what's left of my key, which is definitely sheared. I'm a little baffled by this. Again, I conceive that I could break the key trying to take the flywheel out, but this clearly was broken because there's no piece of metal anywhere on the ground here that matches up to that little break. And the stator is the easiest thing here, but all I got to do is extend these two wires here after I clean it up, and the stator should be good to go. But again, I'm a little bit concerned here. I don't really get this, and I think down here is where the key goes. Sorry, it's hard to see, but it's all like screwy looking. like someone put a bead of a weld in there or something. So I'm going to have to try to rotate the crankshaft here and see if I can get the key at least on the top. I don't know how to rotate the thing, but I'm going to try. And I can't get the flywheel off the other engine, so what the hell. I was able to rotate the crankshaft, and this is where the key was. Now, I don't really get this. I don't know if this is like a welded on piece of junk in there or what, but what appears to be the slot for the keyway is full, and it appears to be about twice the diameter of the actual key that came out of there. So I don't know if this key is a half moon key or what the hell it is, but this is screwed up, I'll tell you that much. I really don't get how this key had anything to do with that area. There's no other spots on the crank here that look like a key would go in them except for that. And again, it's a little weird looking. So I don't really know what to do now, but I think I'm screwed. I have to ask Boomer, the Onan guy. Well, I tried to pull the flywheel off the parts engine. Shoot. I guess I'm going to have to take out the tap and die and thread these holes deep so that I can get a lot of nut in there, because this thing does not want to come off, and it should be easy. It shouldn't be a big deal. So this is not cool. Alright. Now I was able to get the flywheel off the other motor, and it has what looks like a regular Woodruff key. This flywheel is good. There's no cracks or anything like that. The stator is completely full of dirt, which is kind of funny. Not the stator, but the magnets on the flywheel are completely full of dirt. That little chunk did come off the casting there, which I don't know if that matters or not, but it is what it is. So what gets me is that, again, this taper on the crankshaft should make the flywheel come off easy, but I don't get how that key on the other one is so destroyed. So I'm going to have to get a little punch or something and see if I can get that key out, and then try to take the key out the other one. There's no point in me even touching any of these stators yet until I can get that key out, because you know, this thing is really screwed up. So alright guys, alright, this key came out, and it's a regular old half moon Woodruff key, and this has a really nice slot in this crankshaft, but again, you know, I don't get why the other one is so screwed up, but let's go take a look at that one. Now, as luck may have it, I gave this, what was left of the key, one little tap and it loosened right up, and it's pretty destroyed here. And again, I don't like this, the way this crankshaft is. This is not optimal, that's for sure. It definitely looks like for some reason the key tried to shear and it didn't shear. And if I put this key in there, what should be the good one, as you can see, that hole for the keyway is very sloppy, and that can't be good, I'm sure of that. So that being said, I guess at this point I have no choice but to put it back together and hope for the best, but this is not cool, and I hate to say it, but I really think that I need a new crank for this motor because of that issue. And again, I don't know why this is like that, but that flywheel is clearly broken, and it's clearly been broken for a while, because again, whatever this piece of the timing cover is doesn't exist here. So I guess theoretically I need a used timing cover and a new crank. And if you're going to go through all that BS, as might as well just rebuild the whole damn motor. I do have the other motor in the garage that I'd like to take apart over the winter, but this is not cool. And again, I don't know if there's like a way I could put a little wedge in there or something to get this play out of it, but that keyway is Schottky. Maybe JB Weld or something, but I think once you get the flywheel on there and tightened down, I don't really think it's going to move, but this isn't cool. I don't know if a welder could fill that up and then machine a new keyway slot into it, but not cool. Alright, I'm going to put it back together and get back to the charging system and hope for the best here. I'll let you guys know. Well, I got the stator hooked up. I got some soldered and shrink wrapped wires coming out, and they're going to run up here, and they should bring me right up under the seat where I could put in a voltage regulator. So I'm going to put the flywheel on and start it up and see if I have any voltage coming out of those two new wires. We should have voltage. Well, it runs again, and what I'm going to try to do is test the voltage on this new wire in here. Probably can't do this holding the camera, so I was going to turn it off. Well, I'm only getting 5 volts, so something's screwed up, and I don't feel like taking this piece of crap apart again today, so you know, I guess I could take the stator off the other machine if I'm just scrappy. I have a feeling that the stator shop is so old and corroded that it's probably no good, but 5 volts ain't cutting it. I thought it was supposed to be more like 18 or 20 or something like that, not 5. So that definitely is not cool.